Alright, it's like a small family. Okay, is that we will move through three phases of the topic, right? So we will move through the topics which are or essence that we're going to satsang today based on body level, and essence that we're going to satsang today based on mind level, and of course, finally we'll go to the soul level, okay, of our very own Lord Muruga. So as we all know, Thaipusam is coming. So I think it is very apt for us to learn from each other, right, and discuss and share amongst each other our experiences in relation to Sai and also in relation to the spiritual powers and the essence of whatever Muruga, who Muruga is, right, in that essence. So when we think about Lord Muruga, lots of us imagine lots of things. One of the most common thing that we imagine with Lord Muruga is his youthfulness, right? He's a youthful person, one of the youngest, possibly lords of all the lords that we would have imagined, right? And when we listen to his stories, we have heard about his valor, his bravery. We have heard also about his rebelliousness, right? Stories about his rebelliousness and everything. Such a beautiful form, the form that has been devoted to the language itself, the birth of the language itself, and has been described so beautifully in so many texts, right? Across ancient languages, across a lot of different texts, how Muruga has been described. So I think the first thing that we want to ask today before we move on anywhere is, who is Lord Muruga? Who is Lord Muruga? Um, and just as a reminder, this in this satsang, we are not only going to we are not limited to only focus on the meanings of what the form is, or what the spiritual essence of what the form is and everything. We are more, anybody can share in terms of experiences that you have understood who Muruga is, who Lord Muruga is, and if you have seen anything, if you have been anywhere, and if you have read anywhere about that experiences that actually depicts and shows who Lord Muruga is and what Lord Muruga is, that we understand and that you understand as part of the satsang today. Anybody? The starting, I know. That's why there will be a lot of awkward silences in between, but eventually we'll come to it.
I remember the veil. So I think in the center and all that, the one thing that I really remember is they said you need to have a broad mind and a sharp intellect. So which is really essential in whatever that we do. So that's how I take what Muruga is.
Actually, come to think back, what you just said. Actually, Lord Muruga to even Chinese, I think it probably is the first God, no, that because even from small, you go whale, we know whale, throwing coconuts, good, Russian last time. Even small, I mean, we don't really know which Lord it is, but we know whale. We know tom whale, tom whale. So we know that, So before you even know any other God. So in that way, in a way, that's little connection even from small lah, for everybody lah, for I think whole of Malaysia lah. Things like it's actually quite funny as well.
I think a lot of times we, especially, I mean, looking at, we relate that Lord Muruga towards the Taipusam celebration. Say on what happens in that event, what happens in those moments, and that festivity that happens during that day. Yeah.
My grandmother, but not
pray to Lord Muruga, and then they pray that they will take kavadi and all that. So in my family, when my parents got married, I think they didn't have kids for some time. So my mother actually prayed but to give that if she get a baby, then she will do the karma gavadi, the sugar cane, where you take the baby in 6 months. So I think my parents, they got married 71. So I think they were just praying. So finally the baby came, which is me, 75. So when I was, I think 6 months old, I think then they put me in that cradle, and then so my father is tall, about my height. My mother is opposite. So actually they climb up the Batu caves to that time. So that's how what I was trying to say. A lot of people pray, then and they, I mean, Lord Muruga or whatever. Of course, other gods also grant your wishes, but you can see that a lot of people do that. I think with Muruga. So especially in Malaysia, of course, each temple has some festival for different deities, but THAIPUSAM is being the biggest. I think for the Hindu fraternity, I think we are known because of that.
I just want to add on a little. I think for me, Muruga has been the part where, like, knowing that spirituality is not all about just boring, because everything to do with Thaipusam is fun, and Muruga is young and everything. So, not necessarily when we say spiritual, we have to just meditate and tapas and everything. You can have the cheeky side, and you can be in the Sai way. And also, speaking on behalf of the youths, so Muruga kind of symbolizes, even if he's young, he has the power to change everyone and anyone. So age is not in the category of who's good.
Yeah, exactly. It's very apt, like what Anna has said, and also Sister has said. Taoism has given an opportunity for people from so many different kinds of backgrounds, so many different kinds of ages to enjoy the Lord's grace. It's a platform, because when you go to Taipusam, you can see people serving, and there is service happening, there's spiritual side happening, there's people giving discourses, so many things happening at the same time. They have different kinds of views. Just, of course, we have a lot of weird incidents as well, right? But as part of it, Muruga has given the opportunity for lots of types of people to come and enjoy the celebration together. And like what Anna said, I think it's one of the festivals that we have a lot of prayers. Vendigals, the prayers that we do. A lot of people do a lot of sacrifices there, lots and lots of prayers there. There's a lot of, when you look at a person who's taking the milk and walking, it's not just that person who's taking the milk is walking. You have no idea the amount of baggage and burden that he is putting into that while taking it. That is the sacrifice that is being made to Lord Muruga at that point of time. The amount of emotions and everything that is involved while the person is carrying. And we are, from our side, we're just looking at this person who's just doing it. There's so many things that happen, and so many things that remains even after that. For example, Anna is here today. See that story from there, it comes here. So that is how, that is that power, and that is how he has maintained itself. Anybody else? Right. As we are talking about, there's the other part that we also look at is his stories. Okay, so Muruga is related to a lot of stories from the Puranas. Right. One of, I think, some of the famous stories, and one of it is the Muruga who merajuk and ran to Palnimalai. Ran and hid himself in one of the mountains. The story, there's actually a few versions of the story. And the versions that I know is the fact that what you call where Muruga was supposed to, there was supposed to be a mango that was supposed to be shared between the brothers. So in that family of Shiva was the father, Parvati's mother, and Vinayagar is the brother, right? And then we had Lord Muruga. In fact, in one of the discourse, Swami would beautifully say how harmoniously the family lives together with the lion and the snake and the peacock and all the different mouse. Everybody is somebody's prey and somebody's predator. But they are all in the presence of the Lord. They all live happily. So Swami will put it very nicely, saying that this is the world that we live in. But when God is residing in front of us, when we realize and we are aware that He is there, and thus we live like this family of Shiva. Everywhere, whatever differences that we have in whatever sense, could be a lion, and a lion could be just beside a mouse, and a peacock could be just beside a snake. But because the Lord is there, they respect each other, and they live that happily. So in this family, thus this story comes where there's the mango, and that the mango is given to. So this story is always related to Ganesha. Because Ganesha goes around to attain the mango. The challenge was for either one of the brothers to actually, the first one to actually go around the entire universe and to come and reach back. So whoever goes around the entire universe and reach back the first gets the mango, right? But so in a lot of satsangs, the focus is on Vinayagar, right? Because Murugan will run straight away, gets the information, set, I will go now, and he goes around the universe. This is the challenge, I shall take it, I will go around the universe. But Vinayagar being Vinayagar, he's not going to take anything, he's not going to run around the universe. Okay, too big belly, too tired, but he is very, very smart and very, very intelligent, and he comes up with a very beautiful moment in this point of time where he starts going around on his mouse, yes, on his mouse, going around his parents, right, who is Shiva and Parvati. So he decides to go around parents, right? So to everyone's surprise, Narada's surprise and everything, he saw Muruga going very far, and he is happily taking his slow, sweet time going around the house, right? And Narada was asking, your brother is already so far away, is going around the universe so heavily fast with the peacock, and you are just slowly walking around, pacing around this place. And you see, he's wait and see. So he goes around, and the story goes that Muruga, wherever he is in that universe, he will always see Lord Ganapati in front of him. So he is traveling with his peacock around the universe, and he sees Lord Ganapati in front of him every time. See, so for whatever reason, he couldn't go in front of his brother, right? And Lord Ganapati goes around Parvati and gets the mango, right? So we always use the story in Nileshwi and Balvika, saying that how important parents are, going around parents is important. Then we forgot Muruga, Muruga comes after that, the story continues when Muruga comes after that and says that this is the rule is not right. Right? Muruga speaks about the rule and everything else, right? And he, happens, and he goes and places himself into the earth. From heavens, he goes into the earth, and he says that I will then serve my devotees in earth, saying that they are more understanding of me, and he goes to the earth. Of course, the story continues after that. So, this big story, actually, there was one time in one of the group 4 satsangs, we were actually speaking about this story and the meanings of the story, and it was very nice how teens were sharing on, because when we talk about teens, so that was the youthfulness of Subramaniam, Okay, Subramania depicted that youthfulness, the rebellious part of him, the emotional part of him comes, and we actually satsang this with the teens. So it's actually a good moment as well to actually portray this particular satsang back here in this story. In our lives, we have youths, we have teens. How do we reflect upon their parents here, their elders here, and everything? How do we reflect upon the story of Muruga and who Muruga is to the energy and the power of youthfulness? If we could take this as one next part of this satsang. You know why? Because everybody skipped the image part so fast and everybody was quiet, nothing happened. I have to go to the second question without the image, the form of it. What I'm trying to ask you is that you have seen, we have seen, we have heard the story about Muruga, this energy. What are the attributes of Lord Muruga? Senang kan? What are the attributes of Lord Muruga in that sense that that in these stories that we have spoken about, the attributes of Lord Muruga himself? Maybe we can share about those attributes that we know the story of Lord Muruga, we have seen Lord Muruga. In what way we could share his attributes and make ourselves understand about Lord Muruga? So I shared youthfulness. There is bravery, valor, and a lot of this energy is related to the youthfulness of Lord Muruga, for example.
Not really about Lord Muruga, like what Dava said, youthfulness, energy, and all that, right? So when Swami gives us this energy, youthfulness, and all this, so what we do about it? So that's a question, correlation that we need to, whether you take Muruga or any other form of God or Swami. So how, like in Swami's teaching, okay, he has given us the 9 point codes of conduct and all that. So the way, I mean, I personally take it. So the energy that the Lord, the divinity has given to us, so that need to be used for a good purpose in our life. So that it will sanctify us personally. By we sanctifying ourselves, we help to sanctify the people around us. That's where sadhana, that's where the seva and all this it comes. So I still remember when I was studying in university, I used to go to UTM KL at the time. I was doing my diploma. Swami Goha Bhaktananda from Divine Life. So we used to go for his talk and all that. So he will say, when we pray to a form of God, okay, Ganesha, Muruga, so we are actually not praying to the idol, but we are praying to the ideal behind the idol. So how we embed, how we be one with the ideal. So that's what we need to think. I think I'm not answering your question. So what I'm saying, so whatever you mentioned, so we need to see how we put, how we take that from us and then share that love or the energy with the rest. So the way I see it in Swami's teaching through seva and sadhana, I think we can do wonders. So we can be the messenger of Lord Muruga, not only on THAIPUSAM Day, but every day.
I think, again, I'm referring to Skanda Puranam because when I was listening, I always like to connect back to what Swami's message is. How do I, relate? Because for me, at the end of the day, it's Swami in different forms. So one thing that I resonated is when Swami said end of education is character. It resonates a lot as a teacher. So I always make sure that, that always transfer to my students as well. So Swami said, when you have that education, you have to be humble. And that humbleness comes through your character. That's where when Anna said, we do seva, we spend energy in the right way.
because the ego can easily take over jnana. Okay, but that's why the bhakti and all that has to come together. So that's why Swami said, end of education is not straight A's, or it has to be character. So this nicely captured in one of the episodes in Kanda Puranam, where Lord Brahma, he will pass through Himalayas to see Lord Shiva. So Brahma he's the creator of Vedas. So naturally he was a bit egoistic about his knowledge. So he was, he thought that he's great, okay? He knows everything. Plus he has Saraswati as the consort. And again, Saraswati is goddess of knowledge and wisdom. So he was quite, egoistic about, okay, he knows everything and everything. So as he was going to visit Shiva in Kailash, he will cross Veerabagu, which is kind of brother to Muruga and Muruga. So both of them are teenagers, so they were just playing at the gates of Kailasha. So Brahma will pass through them, but he was in a dilemma whether I should acknowledge Muruga or should I just ignore and go. In his heart, he was like, Muruga, come on. He is like almost like my grandchild because I've seen him growing. So why should I acknowledge? So he was like pretending not to see Muruga, but at the same time he was keeping an eye on him. And then he will just pass through and he will go to see Shiva. So when Veerabagu will say that, brother, how come, Brahma didn't acknowledge you? You are Lord Shiva's son, So Muruga said, it's okay, never mind, just leave it, let's continue to play. So they continue to play. So when he came down, after meeting Shiva and all, so he will come down, say, they will go through the same gate. Again, Brahma will decide not to acknowledge Muruga. So this is where, Muruga will stop. May I know who are you? Then he say, oh, you don't know me, I'm Lord Brahma. Then it's like, oh, okay, what do you do? What's your work? Then he will say, I'm the creator of universe. I've created Vedas and everything. So then Muruga will say, if that's the case, can you teach me? He said, of course, I'm very happy to be your guru. So this is where the ego plays, So he was, Muruga was slowly trying to bring this to the surface. So Brahma got excited. Oh wow, Muruga is now asking me to be his teacher. Okay, come, let's start our first lesson today itself. So Muruga said, okay, good, let's sit, let's calm ourselves down. Okay, now can you explain to me how this whole universe was formed? Because you are the creator. So he will say, oh, okay, that's an easy question. So he will start explaining about, the whole universe came from the sound of Om, the Pranava. That's how so he will say, okay, then what's the meaning of Om? And then it's like, he will say this and this. He will start telling about the attributes of Om, but he couldn't exactly hit the points. So the more and more Muruga was prompting, Brahma came to a point that he was just stunned. He couldn't answer anymore. And that's when Muruga said, see, now this have to end. So that means, please stop being egoistic about whatever that you know. And he quickly, immediately captured Brahma and put him into jail. So Shiva will come. Knowing this, Shiva will come. He wanted to address that issue. So he will say, come on son, what happened? In fact, in literature, again, this part, they quote very well, saying that Shiva actually addressed his son as Ayya. Ayya is a very, very highest form of addressing someone. So we will only call someone who's elderly or knowledgeable in terms of Ayya. But here, Lord Shiva is calling his son, who's just a teenager, with that, showing that how parenting should be, how much we should give that equal respect to our, progenies and everything. So, there's a lot to learn from this family, it's a great family. So Lord Shiva will ask, coming back to the story, so he will ask, why did you do that? He's Brahma, he's the creator. He said, first thing, Pa, when he went to see you, before seeing God, you can have any kind of sin. You can do what sinful thing, that's fine. You want to be egoistic, you want to be ahankar, mamakar, all that. Never mind, 6 sins, it's okay. But after seeing you, that sins must go away. We as a devotees, the same thing, before coming to God, we can be ignorant. But the moment we understand God's teaching, we should start changing our character to be better. But that did not happen to Brahma. So that's the first reason why I taught him the lesson. It's not because he didn't respect me, but the moment we understand who his Lord is, the Parabrahman, there's nothing for us to be egoistic about, because we are all him, and that there's no duality, it's all him. So that was great. So what happened after that about Omkar and the whole explanation is a totally different story. But what I relate is how much, Muruga was explaining. He's taking that moment to teach about end of education is character, because the ego that comes with wisdom or knowledge, I wouldn't say wisdom, knowledge or education, it will never go off. It will stay forever. So we have to be humble enough to understand that it's all God given. We have to use it in the right way. That's one attribute that I relate to.
Just go first, Lan. Okay. No experiences, but just wanting to add on from whatever they have been, both Anna and Akka have been saying. Anna has said, we learn a lot of energy, youthfulness from Muruga. How are we going to put it into that, the energy and youthful? What are we going to do with that, those attributes within us? And then listen to what Akka said. Probably, I think now when I look back at it, whatever, as much as Muruga, I think, has been the most active person. We have the whole Skanda Puranam on him, about him. But everything he did or he say definitely had a purpose or meaning behind it. So it's just not enough for us to have that energy and that, being active and everything. But everything we do or say must have a meaning behind it. But how do we do it? Of course, it's a very major, very big question. But I think it comes simply to all Muruga songs. If you actually notice, most of the Muruga songs, there's definitely a line where it says Va Muruga. Oh Muruga, Va Muruga, or the song itself, Va Va Muruga, which means actually come Muruga, come. So if listening back, a few days back I was listening to Prem Anush where he said how to constantly put Swami into your life. Before you do everything, if you just invite Swami and ask, will Swami be happy with me? Doing together with me? Will Swami be okay with me listening to what I say? So I think the similar concept is here, where if we include Muruga in our activeness, in our energy, before we do everything, even just sitting down, is Muruga enjoying just sitting down with us doing nothing? So when we start asking the question, of course in a very simple, basic way, and then slowly it will eventually bring somewhere close to him.
where we were talking about Muruga. So one of the sharing of one of the youths was almost similar like that, saying that every song to Muruga will always end with Va Muruga, always calling Muruga to come. So it's almost like you relate Muruga to this child, at home. When you want the child to listen to you, right? You tend to sometimes shout and all these kind of things, and nothing works. Then you have to go down and say, okay, come, you come here. You have to beg to come here, ask him to come near you, listen to you. Then the child, from all the energy that the child is doing and everything, comes to you. Then listens to what you want to say, and we depict Muruga as that person who's like, he's maybe somewhere running around and everywhere and everything, and at this particular point of time, I need your attention. I need your attention now. I need you to come to me, and that is why the song is always Va Muruga, Vadivelalaga, and all the niceness and the youthfulness and the glory of you. Listen to me, come, okay, come to me, and he always puts himself, and that is what I was saying. He puts himself at a position where you always need to call him to come, because he loves that yearning that you give to him more than the nearness that you have. He loves the yearning part of it. The journey is what he always asks you and demands from you, and that journey is the one that pulls him towards you, and that thus he places himself at a position where you have to make that journey. Where is Muruga? Always on top of the hill, Alright? He's always on top of the hill, he's always placed, and that is the yearning he creates. Okay, I'm not here, I'm not on the ground, you come to me on top, and we, with the Vetrivel and the Vava Muruga and all that, we always pine to reach him. That pining that we get to reach him, that is what he, as that youthfulness and also mischievous energy that he is, to bring that into our devotion, okay, our bhakti.
If you see, when this Muruga topic is going on, I mean body, because to be very frank, I cannot connect with Muruga yet. Because Muruga, he's a youth. And then when it comes to Muruga bhajans, right, I'm talking from a bhajan perspective, when you set up a bhajan, 12 songs, you will fit in Muruga bhajans whenever you need something fast, or something energetic, or something to push the bhajan in between. That's where Muruga bhajan comes in. Okay, I need to push, because if you see Muruga bhajans, it's mainly on powerful. There's very less Muruga soulful bhajans. Something like Deva Senapati is one, maybe. And then most of it is more towards powerful, or the beat. The beat is totally different, where you can have fun with Muruga bhajans. That's where when you sing Muruga bhajans, right, people start to say, oh, wow, oh, oh, all this will come out. So Muruga actually pumps up the energy. So Muruga is his attribute. For me, it feels very youthful, sports. You see, when it's a very simple thing, I actually thought about it. When he lost the battle with Ganesha, right? Seems like he lost the battle. This is a very worldly perspective. He lost the battle. Then after that, he showed the world where Shiva actually bows to him. When he explains the Pranava Om to Shiva, right? So maybe we can also, maybe the youths can also say that don't give up. You can get back and can be, okay. It's just in that perspective, gross perspective. So Muruga is more on, I feel from my perspective, is Muruga is more on powerful. I mean power as in like, I need energy now. Then Muruga comes in. Because for me, when I'm, maybe I need something, I need to think something, I need to meditate something, Muruga doesn't come. Maybe Lord Shiva comes in. Okay, so when we are talking about Muruga, so I'm trying to think here, Muruga, what Muruga played something in my life? What part did he play? Muruga is mainly on power and having fun. So because he's a kid who, I think even the adults here, if we tend to maybe interview or maybe survey asking how do you take Muruga into your life, Muruga will be more on energy giving. You're sitting down so long that you want to wake up, Muruga, you wake up, Muruga pushes up, So Muruga is that. So you won't be like, you're sitting so long that you'll be like, Swami comes also sometimes. Ganesha, no. Because Ganesha, if you look at him, he cannot even wake up. He's so big, right? So first thing you'll get Muruga, you'll come. Then something happen, you'll be like Muruga. So Muruga is like a kickstart, something like that. Muruga. So that's why, if you see, when he's asking about Muruga, what's the attribute, he's circling back there, youthfulness. So it's not going into, Muruga. I can think of when I'm sorrow, right? Then I think of Muruga. Then Muruga suddenly pumps me up and all. So it comes back into that thing where Muruga is a very sporting person.
just came to mind. Like you were saying the Janapalam story, right? So sometimes if you see in movie, the hero gets the credit because of the villain. Because most of the movies, because everything is created for a reason. So I think, that story of Muruga and all that, because Ganesha gets the credit, but it makes us think to teach us a lesson. Swami creates something as a scenario, even in our lives, right? Certain things happen. That's number one. Number two, you were saying that we shout out to call Va Muruga and all that. So whatever said and done, I think all of us sitting here in the center, I think our affinity, I would say mostly to Swami. So when you ask how you relate to Muruga, how you relate to Amman, unless you're individually connected, otherwise it's very difficult to express, right? Suddenly academically you want to tell just because the question is being asked. So we struggle to say, I believe that will be the struggle. But the way I was saying it, when you say Va Muruga, like what Swami say is an inward turn, right? When you call for Lord, when you call Swami, are you calling the Swami there or the Swami in you? So whatever the sadhana and the seva and all the practices that we do, so end of the day, we want that this divinity, the lotus within our hearts to bloom, and we become Swami's messenger or angel or whatever we call it. So whatever the sadhana, the bhajans or the Vedic chanting, the prayers that you do, the yagna that we do, and then all the stories of the Puranas or whatever, is end of the day is to bring out that Lord, whichever form that, so most of us, we like Swami, so he's there, he wants to come out. And Swami says, you take one step towards me and I shall take hundreds towards you. So in everything we do, here comes the energy part. It's the energy like what Satya, right, was saying. Like we say, so the idea is you want to bring the one who's struggling there. But because there are a lot of, how to say, the negativity is within us. However said and done, even we wear all our white, there are a lot of things that we need to wash. So that's why we come to Swami's fold. We go to spiritual events, in temples and all that. So that actually to bring out that Lord who really wants to come out. So actually, like he is shouting from inside, but we are not hearing it. So that's why when we sing bhajans and all that, sometimes I think it's like Swami trying to sing through us so that he can come out and we be one, that oneness. So that's the way I personally simplify things.
It's very apt because as the whole thing is, Satya and Anna is also sharing, you coming back, not just the bhajans, if you come back to the celebration itself, if you come back to the Thaipusam celebration itself, I'm pretty sure some of us have taken Palpadam. I have taken Palpadam in Kavadi and a lot of prayers that we do for Lord Muruga at that point of time. But thinking about it now, that when you that morning, early morning that you go, usually when I was young, I was following my father. That was how I started Thaipusam. And Thaipusam was the most happening celebration for me because I was staying in mainland. Right? As I remember, I was staying in mainland, and Thaipusam is the day where I can come and stay in my relative's house in Penang. So this is a very nice gathering because everybody comes together, right? There's a lot of people come together and you stay for like 2-3 days, and it felt like a gathering kind of a moment where you come all the way here, and then early morning you wake up. Every school morning you'll dread, right, to wake up or whatever. But this morning you try to wake up. You wake up, you go to the Shivan temple, right? You go to the Shivan temple, you do all the prayers, then you walk. Yeah, you walk barefoot, you walk all the way. But that was it, the morning, and then you're starting to walk. When you're starting to walk, you see a lot of people around you chanting Vel Vel, Vetri Vel and all that. You're looking at all these things that is happening in that day, and then you walk all the way, climb all the stairs as you're doing it. And the end of the day, you pour that milk, and then when you're pouring the milk, you're looking at so much of milk being poured. Of course, when I was a kid, I was thinking, wow, so much of milk being poured. Where's this milk going? You're like looking for the milk. Then I used to remember this moment. I used to come down and then find where the milk is going. Then I used to see the river, full white river. Oh, this is where the milk goes. And used to tell stories about that purity of the milk and everything. And it all comes back to the same part of that journey that he has created, the journey that he has created in that whole process of sadhana. It's not just in his form, in Muruga's form, in his youthfulness, and we are in our youths, we are also like that. We youths, when it comes to our energy and everything, it's not just come and have a satsang and go, right? In the youth energy, you come, we have so many things arranged. In that sense, you will arrange from A to Z, everything in that whole service program, in that whole energy. That is that youthfulness or that youth energy that is there, and then that success is it. So there's so much of sadhana being done in that particular journey before we reach that end of whatever that success is. And true enough, Muruga being that person who is the attribute himself of youthfulness, creates that entire yearningness and that journey for us to eventually reach that outcome, which is him. What is that outcome? The beauty, right? That is his name, right? At the end of the day, you go there. People used to say that the most beautiful statue in idol in Penang is the Muruga in Waterfall. He has the most beautiful form. He's standing and his form is so beautiful. So that is that reward that you get to be able to have that darshan in such a beautiful environment, in such a beautiful form, right?
Okay, Sairam brothers and sisters, actually I'm not going to share anything, but just for those of you who have just joined us today, is actually our first session of this satsang. That's why we are sitting in this circle form, because when we started it was just this small group, and we are really, really great, and really, really glad that so many of you are here with us today. And today's satsang is about THAIPUSAM, Lord Muruga. If you have any, when the satsang continues on, if you have anything to share, please feel free to do so. We pass you the mic, you can share your experiences or anything you want to share with the devotees here today. It's not just them talking anymore. All right, Sairam.
Sairam, actually, I'm a very staunch devotee of Muruga. Muruga is very close to my heart, and maybe I'd just like to share with you all some of my experiences. Actually, if you talk about miracles, I think there are countless miracles that I've had from Muruga's blessing, Lord Muruga's blessing. Maybe just to share a small, innocent experience that I had on how I started to develop my belief in God. This is just to echo all of what you all have said on belief in God. I believe all of us have our own beliefs, Swami, God, and so on. So just to share how this started for me. So I'm from Ipoh, and I would say my second home has always been in Kalumala Temple, or some of you all who know, it's a Murugan temple in Ipoh. So every morning before going to school, Father would bring us over there. Anything, if it's temple, it's Kalumala Temple for us. So I practically grew up in that temple, and THAIPUSAM has always been the biggest event of the year for us. It has been a one-week event. I'll be there in the temple with my father, and it's like the chariot processions, Pal Kodam, and so on. So my journey started when I was 12 years old, and that was the first year I started carrying Pal Kodam until this very year. And we would always carry Pal Kodam from our house. We would walk barefooted to Kalumala Temple. So that was my very first year, so it's very, very clear in my mind until today. I was carrying a small Pal Kodam, and it was my first year, so I think mother didn't want to put the Pal up to the brim, so that it wouldn't be too heavy for me. Throughout my journey, the milk kept on spilling, and I was so afraid inside. Will there be enough milk, by the time I reach? Then Mom just told me, it's okay, just pray to Muruga, just chant Om Muruga, and just walk all the way. So with him in my mind, I carried the Palkodam all the way to the temple. To my disbelief, when they opened my Palkodam, for me, to my eyes, the milk that I saw was even more than what my mother had bought for me. And tears just rolled down my eyes because I was in disbelief and, seeing Muruga being poured, the milk being poured on him and my milk being poured for him, I could not express the joy that I had, and tears were just flowing down my eyes. And until this very day, that is a very emotional moment for me. Every time I carry milk for Lord Muruga, seeing the Pal Abhishekam is something very emotional to me. So, I think this has made me start believing in whoever you worship to. If you have a strong belief and you believe that, God is with you, I think anything is possible. I must tell you, lots of miracles. I can go on and on talking about it, but this is something very innocent and it's I think it's related to THAIPUSAM, so I just thought of sharing it.
Thank you so much, Kat. That was actually very, very nice miracle. And yes, true enough, because when it comes to Lord Muruga, his miracles is massive. There's so many miracles, so many stories behind. Before we go on to the next person, we'll just have a short song, right? A budget, right? Just to get into that, to get into the moment of Lord Muruga and to understand him, to get that devotion into our play. So we'll have a short bhajan at this point in time.
Devasena
देवसेनापते स्कन्धा सुब्रह्मण्या पाहि माम्.
Okay, Sarah, anyone else who has experience to share, Auntie?
Sairam,
Sairam.
since Thaipusam is very near, I like to talk about Thaipusam, about Murugan. You know, COVID time, about 3 years, I didn't go to see chariot. So I was very, very, very upset. I was telling Muruga, because of COVID, I cannot come and see you also. I'm very upset. Well, I've been telling this very often. I've been telling this very often to Muruga. So last year, what happened is, there's a big crowd at the Tandamala temple, Murugan temple down. So I'm alone. Nobody is beside me, my family or none. I was alone. So the crowd is terrible. So I was standing outside on the road. What they do for the chariot, Muruga, how they decorate the chariot, the Muruga is coming from the temple, coming out, going to the Radham. But I didn't see Radham, but I saw the Muruga only with the beautiful decoration. And the very big crowd, and then I was telling, Muruga, உன்னை பார்க்க முடியலப்பா சரியான கூட்டம். I was telling Muruga, say, Muruga, I cannot see you because it's too big, the crowd. I have to put my head up and say. So I just told Muruga, I start walking. No, I start walking. You know, the chariot is coming from the Koil Veedu, Market Street, you know, Koil Veedu. Just temple is here, where the Muniandi temple in front, you know, how Murugan is coming with a Raja Gambiram, wearing a blue baju, vesti, talapa with the mile work, this one. And he's standing our height. Our height, you know. It's not a small doll or something, no. It's our height. Manida Urbam. So he's coming. I was looking. I said, Muruga, now I can see very clearly. So nice. People are pushing and coming, no? The hand is like this. The hand is like this. He was smiling and coming. I'm myself talking myself, you know. I didn't talk to anybody. I'm talking myself. I say, Muruga, now I can see you so nicely. Everybody also can enjoy seeing you. I'm talking to myself. It's so nice of you to show your uruvam to me. I thank you. Because the last few days I didn't see you. So he started coming, no? Huge Murugan with the Raja Alangaram. He's coming with the Raja Alangaram. You can see a photo, so no. It was in my altar, you know, the small photo till I have. I never don't notice all that. So blue baju, no? Blue baju, Raja Udupo. The Raja's Udupo is coming. I was really enjoying seeing him and prayed to him. He just moved. I said, now Muruga, everybody can see you so nicely. This is what I want. That's my dream. I had last year about Murugan. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so Auntie has described the dream so beautifully, and it again comes to the same, the other message that we are talking about. When you talk about Muruga, it's beauty. It's that, what do you call? You know, when we talk about peacock in school, we used to say that especially in when we were learning Bahasa Melayu, when we talk about peacock, we talk about the sombong. Right? Sombong macam merak, peacock. But it's very nice because that thing that he has, I don't know how to say that in terms of the glow that he has, with the beautiful vahanam. See, he has chosen a very, very pretty vahanam, for himself. Such a beautiful peacock with all that, with the proudness and everything, and all the magnificence that he has shown. And when the chariot comes also, you look at the chariot, I agree with Auntie, especially at night, when you are looking at the chariot, you can be anybody, but when you look at the chariot, you're like, wow, right? It's such a elegance that he always comes with. That is what Muruga always brings to us as devotees as well.
Saram, everyone. Actually, if we don't have much time, but then if I wish to explain the context of how we are connected to each and every deity, this Hindu deity. So, Satisha has started off with the Skanda Purana. It's a Purana. It's a relative story of certain deity. But these Puranas actually means, in Sanskrit, if you break them up, Pur-ana. Pur means a location, like Kuala Lumpur. It's a city. Singapore, also a Sanskrit name, actually. So it's a location, Mylapore and so on. And each Sanskrit words, if you take, they can actually go to almost about 70, 80 times you can use it, meanings you can use in a sentence. So, Pur also means immediate, the moment, right at that time, in a location. So, Ana here merely means in Sanskrit, breath. So, we are all living in one breath of Swami, which actually is 100 Brahmas, time of 100 Brahmas. Brahma who creates. And right now, these Puranas are mentioning and everything about, if you notice, we have 18 Puranas that we can read, but there are many Puranas which we don't have access to, but 18 Puranas, out of the 18 Puranas, it always starts with the start of the creation, how everything was created. And you can see these stories coming up again and again, but with different names, different deities, and differently mentioned. It could be different time, because when you talk about time, it's very vast. So, if you take in the Sanatana Dharma, our religion, Hindu religion, is actually sitting into Sanatana Dharma, the way, the eternal way of life, we call it. And it starts with two portions. One is called the Struti, the other part is called the Smriti. The Struti part is considered where you listen. Everything comes through sound. So the Struti, we cannot go and change it. So those are the Vedas, the knowledge given by God. And the Smriti is what? Written out as memory. Once you listen, and then written out. So the Smritis has got various forms of Smritis, and one of that which comes is the Puranas. Puranas explain everything about each and every deity. What I've come to understand is each and every deity is actually present in the moment within us, all these deities. So how are we going to associate this with Lord Muruga? You see, that is the body part. When we are born, I'll tell you how Muruga is associated with us. But even in the environment, Muruga is associated even in the atoms. You see, every atom, everything here, whatever there is all the particle of atoms. And these atoms hold and show you everything. It's like a screen. So the atoms will change. So these atoms, so when we are talking about atoms, it's called Anu in Sanskrit. One atom, or rather we say, in a pin, if you look at a pin or a needle, the point of a pin almost has 2 billion atoms. So just imagine that pin. So you can just imagine all these is atoms. Swami says, whatever you are made of atoms. Whatever you eat also is atoms. Everything is atoms only. Anu. Everything is Anu. So, if you have, if you come to know about science in school and you have studied something about atoms, the atoms are particles that you cannot divide anymore. You cannot break it up. That was the belief. It had 3 important components in it. That is proton, neutron, and an electron circling around it. And you can't break it. As far as only 20th century, 1964, scientists discovered that even in the protons and even in the neutrons, there are even further particles. And these are 3 particles each, which form 6. So science can go on. But all these answers are in the Vedas. And it was brought down to the Upanishads. Upanishads means that a rishi who sits, a sisha who sits and listens to God. Swami speaks the discourses, we sit down and listen. Once we understand, we keep it in our memory. Then we try to think of it. Then we produce it into a form of Purana, illustrative form. So this is how the Purana was, the end product of almost the Vedas. Everything explained. So, right in this proton and atoms, there were 3 each, and it constitutes 6, which is called quarks, 6 quarks. And they say this cannot be split again until now. You cannot split this particle anymore. So the funny part is these quarks, the science has given it as 2 up quarks, 2 down quarks, and 1 charm quark and another strange quark. And this exactly fits Lord Muruga's 6th phase. So science has only come to realize something there, but they won't actually connect it with spiritualism. That is material part, material science. Nobody will go into spiritual science. But spiritual science, if you go into it through all these Vedas, and you will find that all these deities are within us. How did Muruga came into the picture? So, if you were to know through this Skanda Purana and so on, Skanda means is a warrior. Skanda. So he was picked to guard. Guard what? What does he has to guard? So, There are doctors here. If we talk about material science, when a baby, or rather we call it an embryo, when life starts from the husband and wife, then the first moment, the first day of what happens is it's called a zygote. Zygote? See? Zygote, first day. The embryo is called. Then 1 to 2, 3 days it changes into embryo until it goes into a fetus stage. And Swami says, 3rd or 4th month around there, life gets into this fetus and it becomes lively. But beginning itself, all the indras are there to form. So if you study Skanda Purana, it tells you the story of Lord Muruga having to protect these devas who have been attacked by 3 asuras, namely Tarakasura. Taraka actually means, is related to liberation, but Taraka also means a shining star. Tara means a shining star. So there is soul which has been injected into while the embryo starts up. But every now and then, this asura wants to put it off, put the light off within it. And there are another 2 brothers, Singamukha Asuran, and the last one, Surapatman. And the Surapatman is the one who gives, in the end, when Lord Muruga's veil devours him, he becomes 2 forms. One a cockerel and the other a mayura, which is a peacock. So how it happens? Now, from the first day, Brahma sees his baby is not going to live any longer, because this Tarakasura and their bacteria, viruses in this form, they will just kill this zygote. It will not last. So he goes to his preceptor, Vishnu, and he says, we are not going to be successful. We cannot create the first human being. So what happens? They say the only way is to instigate Shiva into it. We have to bring Lord Shiva and make him do something, that produce something that we can protect this. So at that time, Lord Muruga is a pre-Vedic deity. He is actually junior Shiva. Was there. But then the work comes for Lord Muruga to start working. So they approach Shiva. Brahma approached Shiva and asked, how can I go about this? Because I cannot populate this world with humans. Because every other baby, or supposed to be the baby, pre-baby time, it gets killed. The light is put off. It's the light of the soul is put off. So what happens? So Shiva says, I'll take care of it. So the way he has to take care of it, he says, but he goes into a deep meditation mode, trance. So how is he going to take care of it? They are waiting. Creation is not going to happen. It's going to be a big flop for Brahma. He's the creator. So what happens? They find a way how to instigate Shiva to make something happen. Shiva has given a hint to Brahma, say that I will come in a form and try. But Shiva cannot come into a form is because he has given boons to, and even Brahma has given boons to these bacteria and these viruses, saying that Shiva cannot have his own child, not even through his partner, which is initially was Sati, and reborn again as Parvati. So there's no way Shiva can produce another child which can, take care of this issue. So these people, Brahma and all that, they couldn't wait. They found a way how Shiva should have a child. For their thinking, they sent Cupid. It's called Manmada, love portion. Cupid, who's also inside us. They sent Cupid to embrace Shiva's meditation, to get into it, spoil his meditation. And then, when he looks at Parvati, he might have a kid which will support this or protect this. Is their plan. But the moment Cupid sends normally it sends within from our heart, it sends. Shiva got disturbed and he immediately opens up 5 channels of chakras. He has 5 faces, he opens up his 5 faces. And these 5 faces makes this Cupid burns him down into ash. Then he produces another face, which is the 6th chakra. And from that 6, he creates Lord Subramanya, or we can call him Kartikeya. But this force, this which came through the 5, which came through his eyes, right from the Ajna chakra, when it came through his 5 faces, it cannot be helped by any force. Immediately, the Devas were trying to find how maybe we can ask Agni to go and hold it. Agni couldn't handle it. It was so hot. Called Vayu. Vayu tried to handle it, also too hot. Then the only way is Agni and Vayu decided to drop it into Ganga, water. Drop it into Ganga. Ganga carried it away and lodged it in a safe place, which is called a Shara Vana, a forest of reeds. All this is in the human body. Since from the first day of the introduction of the zygote, the embryo, it's there. Everything happens. This is the story of creation, where Lord Muruga, from that point from the beginning point, Junior Shiva protects this embryo in this form and pass it on to this reed, which is called Shara. Eventually, from the first day itself, this Shara reed is actually all this portion of this lung, which is not developed yet in that form. It's called also Shara and becomes a big forest eventually. It supports prana, the air, the breath. So what happens? Swami says 3 to 4 months, life gets in. And that's life gets in. That story will come with Ganesha Chaturthi, Vinayaka Chaturthi. That life or rather within 3rd and 4th months, I can only tell this story during that period, how life gets in. So, here in the Shara Vana, these forest of reeds, the 6 heads are deposited and someone should take care of them. So immediately Brahma summons the Sapta Rishis. Sapta means 7 rishis. They are celestial rishis who are responsible for all this creation, annihilation, preservation and all that. They are working force with the main deity. So what happens here? 6 consorts of these Saptarishis, 6 Saptarishis comes down and they are called Kartikeya. They are actually sisters, 6 sisters, 7 sisters actually, but these 6 sisters, and they come down to nurse this embryo. Until now, science has only found that the embryo has, from the stage of a single cell, produced to double, twin cells, then it goes to 4 cells, 8, 16 and so on in the embryo region. But they haven't found anything relating to spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, it is stated in the Puranas, in the Upanishads, from the Vedas. This is what is stated. In the spiritual realm, if you have time, you have to look into these Puranas and you can get everything about how you were created like this and how the soul was injected to you, when, who protected it. So, the warrior Subramanya, this Kartikeya, was meant to protect. This was taught by the consort of the Saptarishis, how to protect. Finally, they had to be one to protect. So, Parvati comes, consort of Shiva, joins all these 6 heads together and brings Kartikeya, who is later called Saravana Baba. And from then on, he protects. He has to demolish these 3 asuras. And he takes up, the mother herself becomes the lance, spear. It is not the lance that we see, that metallic spear that we see. It is actually a shaft of light, a shaft of strong light, which it's because it's power. Shakti is power. So he lunges at this Tarakasura. He takes care of Tarakasura, he takes care of Simha, Vagana, and finally he takes care of Surapatma. Surapatma initially also had his Vagana as a Mayura. So, and had a cockerel, which actually gives you a warning of anything that comes by. So, Surapatma was split into 2. He became a cockerel, became a peacock. And our Subramanya took that peacock as the Vagana. Then on, what happens? This peacock actually represents the cells in our body. All the cells. Our body is made up of these cells. So, Lord Muruga, he actually moves into all these cells. And then, that moment, he becomes the Shulamna Nadi, that central force, spinal region, the central force, which you can't see. And he then gets married to Devasena, who is related with the, Satisha was explaining, heaven side, Indra. And later, he had to, because once he becomes Sulamana and Devasena, he has to return that prana back, that dirty portion of the blood. Blood is related to Ganesha. He has to return back. He has to return back to the Vana, the forest of reeds. So, he finds that in the body, he has to marry Valli. It's related with the earth, or rather the body. Our body is just practically earth. So, Valli is the vein, artery is the Devana, and Shlumna, Lord Muruga, is all the time within us. That is why when you have to take Kavadi, during Thaipusam, you have to be put into a trance before this, all these, what you call, skewers and everything placed on you. You have to go into trance. Otherwise, you cannot take the pain. You cannot bear this pain of the skewers. Once you go into a trance, this is a trance which is not exactly the transcendental state that the rishis go or the yogis go. This is a spark of that trance which you get. So if a person cannot control this trance, it actually most of the time picks up everything from your mind and throws it out. That is why they tend to shout without be able to control. If you attend this Thaipusam festival and you see people are shouting sometimes, not actually saying anything related to God, saying funny things. Everything comes from the mind because it has not reached the highest part. If it reaches the highest part, you will become a yogi. So, Lord Muruga with the Shlumnamadi is related with the transcendental state. So he is within us. Even by saying his name, you can feel every cell in your body in vibration. That luster spreads all over just by saying Muruga, because he is pure love. So, we have actually spoken about the Lord Muruga on the soul stage. So, it is not very easy to explain this within these few minutes. It takes hours to understand. Probably you might have understood. Like Swami says, listen to his discourse. If you listen to his discourse, it will take time for you to understand. Maybe not in this birth. It might be next birth. Where Kasturi asked Swami, why are you talking all this? Who is going to understand? They are mere peasants. They are mere farmers. How are they going to understand? Swami says, do not worry. They will need it in the future. Not this birth, probably another 10 birth time, you will understand what Swami says. If one goes through any spiritual topic today and you read up, eventually one day it will pop up to you. He will give that lesson back to you so that you will remember and you will then take up that and follow. So everything that you have heard, if it doesn't connect to you now, but it will be in your memory and it will come up one day when it will help you to understand about Lord Subramanian. Sai Ram, thank you.
Thank you so much. We actually come to the end of the satsang. We will end with bhajan. Then we have our usual ending prayers, and prasadam will be served. I think we have a bit of announcement as well after the bhajans. Sarab.
Swaminatha Sai Karuna Sindhu Pahi
Swaminatha Sai Karuna Sindhu Pahi
Swaminatha Sai Karuna Sindhu Pahi
Swaminatha Sai Karuna Sindhu Pahi Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Saram, brothers and sisters. Once again, thank you very much for attending today's satsang session. It's a really wonderful session, and actually, if we were to dwell upon all these satsang sessions, we can actually take the whole night, the whole day to talk about this, because there's so many things to share about. Not only THAIPUSAM, not only Lord Muruga, but all Swami, all things Swami. We can go on and on and on. So with this limited time, we hope that everyone enjoyed yourself, and we will be having this session. The next one will be, I think it will be for Mahashivaratri, which is in March. So next week we'll resume back the usual Friday bhajan, and please do join us for all these upcoming bhajan practices and also all these satsang sessions. We really appreciate all of your presence today. So there are a few announcements to be made. The first one is the Penang SCA Bhajan will be happening tomorrow, Sunday, 21st January, here at GELUGOR Center. It will be at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So any one of you, free, you're around, please do pop by and join in this Penang SCA Bhajan. And the next announcement is the SSBC GELUGOR SSE classes for Group 1 to Group 4. Okay. The registration form is already up already. We have been sharing this in the WhatsApp groups and all. If you do not have this code or this poster, you can grab one, or you can grab as many as you want. It's just at the registration counter, at the center counter here. You can give it to your friends, anyone that you think or you feel that is would be interested to join our SSE class. And we will be having our first meetup tomorrow at 10 a.m. So we will be having maybe to see the participants, maybe, and discuss to see which day will be the suitable one for us to conduct these sessions. So if you are keen, you also can come by tomorrow 10 a.m. And if you have children, you have any relatives or child from age 6 to 17, feel free to join this really wonderful SSE class. And the last announcement will be the Penang State THAIPUSAM Blood Donation Drive. It will be on the 23rd January, 23rd, which is a Tuesday, 5 p.m. There will be they want to set up the pantel, so they need some help for cleaning. That is just blood donation drive. On the 24th and 25th will be the blood donation drive going on. So it will be THAIPUSAM Eve and THAIPUSAM Day itself. If you are keen or you're around, you want to be a volunteer, please feel free to give me your name. Morning session will be 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Afternoon session will be 1 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. So you can help out in the registration booth. You can help out with holding some placards, asking people to come, ratadanam, get people to join, and then donate blood and other things. Okay? So interested, please let me know. And I think that's all for today. Thank you once again for everyone, and to all of you who have shared your experiences today. Saram.
Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmatno Brahmanahutam Brahmevadena Gandhavyam Brahmakarma Samadhina Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashrita Pachamyannam chaturvidham. Om
शांति 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 ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे
भक्तजना संरक्षक भक्तजना संरक्षक प्रतिमगेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शिवधना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित बलपलतिका आश्रित बलपलतिका आपद बांधवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदेवम मरियंदयुनीवे स्वामी मरियंदयुनीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्राशयना ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकारारूप जय साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंडको मंगल आरती अंडको मंडर गिरिधार ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा ओम शांति शांति शांति
समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई